Hello, friends, and welcome to This Explainer. Have you ever caught yourself wondering exactly how our famous Alfonso mangoes from Maharashtra end up in supermarkets all the way in Japan? Or how premium basmati rice makes its way to dinner tables in Dubai? Well, today we're going to completely demystify international trade. By the end of our time together, you'll have a rock-solid foundation on how goods actually move across borders. And we'll be answering the ultimate question: can an ordinary person actually start an import-export business? So let's dive right in. Here's a quick roadmap of what we're covering today. First, core concepts. Then, why countries trade, the global trade team, rewards and risks, and finally, the beginner's biggest mistake.
All right, Section 1, Core Concepts, Import and Export.
Let's look at our first concept. An import is literally just bringing things in. Suppose a trader right here in Delhi buys a big shipment of LED lights from China to sell locally. That right there is an import. On a much larger scale, India imports massive quantities of crude oil, heavy machinery, and medical equipment. Basically, anytime goods cross your borders from the outside in, you've got an import.
Now, an export is the exact opposite. It simply means selling your goods or services internationally. Imagine a local business in Punjab selling their basmati rice to a buyer in Dubai. That rice leaves India, lands in the UAE, and boom, that's an export. Countries tend to export what they are absolutely best at making. India, for instance, is a massive powerhouse when it comes to exporting spices, pharmaceuticals, and IT services to the rest of the globe.
To make this incredibly simple, just think about your own neighborhood. If you're baking a cake and run out of sugar, you might go borrow some from your neighbor, right? You're bringing something from the outside into your home. That's importing. But now imagine your garden is just bursting with extra mangoes, and you decide to sell them to the folks next door. You're sending goods out. That's exporting. It is the exact same concept, just applied to entire countries.
Moving on to Section 2, why do countries trade? A lot of beginners ask me, why doesn't a country just make everything it needs all by itself? Well, because no country has unlimited resources. We all have different natural strengths. Take Saudi Arabia, for example. They have abundant crude oil, which India desperately needs, so India imports it. In return, India is a leading producer of software and spices, and we export those to countries that need them. Trade basically lets nations focus entirely on what they do best.
Section 3, the global trade team. Now, people often think it's just a buyer shaking hands with a seller, but look at all these players involved. Yes, you have the exporter, the importer, and the supplier who actually makes the product. But behind the scenes, you've got freight forwarders handling all the complex logistics, you have the customs department keeping a strict eye on the borders, and crucially, you have banks facilitating your payments and insurance companies protecting your hard-earned shipments. You're really backed by an entire ecosystem. And if you're sitting there wondering what exactly you can export, the variety is just incredible. The golden rule is simple. If there's international demand for it, you can export it. We are talking agricultural products like rice, spices, and tea, beautiful textiles like saris and home furnishings, engineering goods like auto parts, pharmaceuticals, and yes, even services like software and IT consulting. The sky is the limit.
Which brings us to a very crucial question. Looking at all those massive industries and global players, can a regular, ordinary person actually start an import-export business? Or do you need millions of dollars and a huge factory to even think about it?
The answer is an absolute yes. A regular person can definitely do this. So many successful exporters started incredibly small. Say a local spice trader finds out there's a huge demand for turmeric powder in Dubai. They do not need a massive factory. What they actually need is solid knowledge, thorough market research, the right product, reliable buyers, and proper documentation. Get those things lined up and you are officially in business.
All right, Section 4, rewards and risks. Taking your business into the international market is super exciting. You aren't limited to your local city anymore. The entire globe is your marketplace. Naturally, this opens the door to significantly better profit margins. Plus, you get the amazing advantage of foreign currency earnings. Getting paid in US dollars, euros, British pounds, or UAE dirhams can really help your business grow and scale at a rapid pace. But listen, we need to be realistic because the risks are very real and you've got to manage them. Sometimes, a buyer might delay their payment, or maybe the product quality doesn't quite meet their strict expectations. You might run into shipping delays or hit customs paperwork issues that can literally freeze your shipment at the port.
And unfortunately, fake buyers and international fraud do exist. This is exactly why gaining knowledge, keeping proper documentation, and doing strict verifications are absolutely non-negotiable.
And that leads us to Section 5, the beginner's biggest mistake.
My friends, please pay very close attention to this. If you take away just one single thing from our explainer today, let it be this. The absolute biggest trap that beginners fall into is buying massive quantities of a product, completely filling up a warehouse, and only then starting to look for an international buyer. Please don't do this. This backwards approach almost always leads to a bunch of unsold inventory and total financial ruin. Never buy the product just hoping a buyer will magically show up.
Instead, you've got to rely on the professional method. Step 1, do your market research and identify actual demand. Step 2, find the buyers and send them samples. Step 3, officially receive your orders. Only after you have that order in hand do you move to Step 4, which is procuring the goods. And finally, Step 5, you export. Always secure your orders first. That is exactly how the successful players do it.
So, now that you understand the basic mechanics of importing and exporting, you've weighed the rewards against the risks, and you know exactly how to avoid that massive beginner mistake, are you ready to learn how to formally and legally set up your business?
In our next explainer, we're going to build directly on today's foundation. We'll be diving into the crucial legal documentation you absolutely must have to get started. We'll break down exactly what an Import-Export Code, or IEC, is. We'll answer the big question of whether you actually need GST, explain what an AD code does, and walk you through all the essential documents required to get your business officially off the ground.
Thank you so much for joining me today as we lay down these core concepts. Remember our motto, be safe, think smart. If you found this helpful, definitely join us for the next explainer where we get into the practical legal setup. But before you go, I want you to take a look around your own city today and ask yourself, what local product right in your neighborhood could be the next big global sensation? Think about it. Stay safe, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.